In 1946, because my husband had the experience with youth, we were asked by the Refugees Committee here whether we would take charge of a hostel for children who survived the camps. And we didn't know what we were letting us in for, because we had no idea what children like this were like and how to handle them. We were told about children, but they were all sort of adolescents and they were washed with all waters, you know. And we had psychiatrists, psychologists, all kind of people coming to interview these boys. It's amazing how they, in the end, straighten themselves out, because, you know, one had no idea. The young children having to fight in the camps to survive. It needed a lot of cunning as well, and so we tried, you know, tried all kinds of things. They did not trust us. When we were so kind to them and we gave in to them, they thought it's because, well, it won't last, they will something, they do it because they want to lure us, you know, again into some sort of camp. Or after a year, we had a staff of teachers, you know, they didn't know English. We had to prepare them for life, really. They had no formal education. They came there at the age of, you know, in the Polish boys were there from the age of perhaps 9, 10. And when they were released, they were about 15, 16. They had no formal education. We had to see that they, first of all, learn the language. We had teachers come into the hostel, and we tried to bring them back to sort of Yiddishkeit, because they'd given up, you know, they didn't want to know anymore. Although they came from very religious homes at home. But of course, with all these experiences, you know, they lost faith and they didn't want to know. And we tried hard to, you know, bring them back. We achieved a little, but actually later on, you know, after a year, we thought the boys should not be together in, again, you know, comes a hostel life. They should be with private families, should learn to live a normal life. There were fights going on sometimes, you know. They accused each other. One called, you were a capo in the camp, you stole away the bread from, you know, this one. There were fights going on, really quite serious one. We had to rush them to hospital. They had nearly an eye knocked out. It was not easy. They did not trust us, and they thought we didn't do enough for them, what they'd gone through, you know. They wanted everything. Whatever they wanted, we should give them. The bicycles, watches, whatever, you know. They thought they deserved it all, you know. And, well, we couldn't give them everything, you know. We were very much restricted also. Money wasn't there, so people came in from the community and they talked to them, and they invited the one or the other. They thought, heard of one boy comes from such a big Yichus, you know, family in Poland. He was the worst of all of them. He got himself into terrible trouble later on. But on the whole, the boys straightened themselves out, and they became all members of shuls. They all married, from what I remember, I think. They all married Jewish girls. And they were quite useful members here, and you know, the 35 group they belonged to, and they worked for Russian Jewry, and They belong to schools, yes, I come across them sometimes. It was physically and mentally the hardest year of my life in that hostel.
Can you give me some stories from the year there?
Well, one boy, he was a Hungarian boy. So, you know, the Polish boys and Hungarians didn't get on too well. Different mentality. Anyway, he was most loyal to us after we gave up. You know, he still came and visited us. He was a nice boy, a bit wild, carnage. Well, he fell madly in love with a girl here in Manchester. And he really, and she liked him as well. We had a lot of young girls come to visit the boys, you know, talk to them. And one was that girl, you know her, I'm sure. Unfortunately, she died a year or two ago. Her sons are very busy in Steencourt. What's her name? Muriel.
Lister?
Yeah. Well, she came, and this boy, this Hungarian boy, fell madly in love with her. But the parents would not let him even over the doors. And he never forgot her. Well, he probably later on. Yes, we had such things happen as well. The boys fancied some girls who came to the hostel just to talk to them, you know, nothing more. But they're boys. And yes, that was one boy. He also tried very hard to make something of himself, to learn something. We sent him to various colleges. I think in the end he got a degree or a diploma in engineering. I think the boys, you know, one worked for Halberstadt as a butcher. One became a tailor, this Rubinstein. Then a lot of them went into the bag trade, and they made quite a good living out of it. So I think we've done quite a good job, the boys.